Hello guys, welcome back to the channel. This is Trog's Fully Painted Miniatures, and we're going to be going up against the Horde Crone today on Expert Difficulty, Aeons and 2nd Edition. So this is my first attempt on Expert Difficulty. I did defeat him on the first attempt on Normal. So I'm going to go with basically the same setup, but I'm going to go in with a particular strategy, which is I'm going to try to defeat him by running through the Nemesis deck. And having him run out of cards and defeat him defensively that way. Also, before I get started, I just wanted to show you guys, if you're interested, a miniature I painted last night. I think I did a pretty decent job. I just picked up some Army Painter metallic speed paints because I really struggle with metallics. And this miniature is from Reaper Miniatures, and did this guy up in a couple hours. Like 2-3 hours last night, and I haven't painted in months, so I'm pretty happy with how this guy came out. Yeah, I think it looks pretty cool. I don't know if he shows up very well on camera, but yeah, I used to paint every day, and I almost never paint anymore because divorce is hard. But yeah, anyway. So Horde Crone, he basically has a separate deck, and he has all these abilities that unleash these little trogs, which are kind of like orcs. That's how I think of them. One of them damages players, one of them damages Gravehold, and one does like a mix, plus some other something else that's special. I kind of forgot. I'm going to be going up against him using Zana and Nim. These are both mages from this expansion. This is the Depths expansion. Zana's unique card deals 1 damage. It's basically a spark, but you can choose to cast one of your prep spells while discarding the Eternal Ember instead of that prep spell, which is really, really cool. Allows you to double cast, and her ability is Sanctum Glyph. Restores 7 life to Gravehold for 5 charges. She does not have a first breach. Her second costs 5 to open, her third 7, and her fourth 4. So we'll be going for that 4th breach first. Then we have Nim. His unique card is Cinder, deal 1 damage like a spark, or you can cast it to gain 2 Aether. So what's really interesting about that is you can have this prepped, gain 2 Aether, and then you still have your 5 cards. So even with just crystals, you could still generate 7, potentially. So I'm really interested in trying him out. His unique ability is Terminus Barrier, and it discards the top card of the Nemesis deck. If you discard an attack card, discard an additional card. So he could be, that ability could synergize really well with Scrying Bolt from the Nameless expansion, because it allows you to look at the Nemesis cards and then put them back in any order. So you can make sure you put them back with an attack card on top and then use his ability. So I think that's pretty cool. So he's tailor-made to kind of tear through that deck. Especially once you get to tier 3, there's only 8 tier 3 cards. So if I can get his ability off twice, that should get rid of, say, 3 of them. Which is that's really good. 3 out of 8 helps a lot, especially with tier 3. All right, so we're going to be using all the expansion cards in this, as well as Jade and Diamond Cluster, same as defeating him on regular. So Jade 2 cost, gain 2 Aether. Diamond Cluster 4 cost, gain 2 Aether. Second time you cast this turn, it gains an additional 2. So if you have 2 of them, the first one's worth 2, the second one's worth 4. And then Banishing Topaz costs 5, gain 2. You may place any card in your hand on top of your deck, returning it to your deck. If you do, gain an additional 2. So it goes from 2 to 4. Then we have Transmogrifier. I haven't used this yet, but destroy a card in your hand. You may gain a card from any supply pile that costs up to 3 or more than the destroyed card. So let's get rid of starter cards at least. So it's not terrible. And my suspicion, I'm going to try this game, I think, is with the Vin Dynamo, suffer 1 damage, any player destroys 2 cards, or destroy this, any player gains 2 charge and 1 life. I don't know if this is legal or not, but I haven't seen anything to say that it's not, where I can use this, say, Transmogrifier, destroy a card in hand. I destroy this. Then any player gains 2 life and 1 charge. And because it's 4 cost, I then get to get a 7 cost spell from any spell splat bot, basically. So that's how I read it. Anyway, then we're going to take Void Bond, 4 cost, deal 3 damage. You may cast any player's prepared spell in addition. And then Combustion, 5 cost, deal 2 damage to a minion, then 2 damage to a different minion or the Nemesis. And this goes up to 3 in a third or fourth breach. And then we're taking Devouring Shadow for 6 cost, deal 3 damage. While prep once per turn, you may destroy a card in your hand. And then our big boy, 8 cost spell. This spell must be prepped to 2 adjacent breaches, so this card touches both breaches. This fully occupies both breaches. Deals 7 damage divided however you choose to the Nemesis and any number of minions. So that's your key, really, to keeping the Trog deck in line, is that Monstrous Inferno, especially if you can use Eternal Ember, so she can double cast it. Alright, and I also forgot to mention that Nim starts with his first breach open, second at 5 cost, third at 7, and fourth at 10. Oh, and the Horde Crone starts with a single Trog in play, and it's going to be a Zom. So Zom, if there's 2 of these in play, the player with the lowest life suffers 1 damage. Little zombie orc. 3 Zoms, any player discards 3 cards, and 4 Zoms, Gravehold suffers 1 damage for each Trog in play, and then discard all Zoms. Okay, we're going to start with Nim. He's going to prep Cinder. And for 4, he's going to buy a Diamond Cluster. Nemesis turn. Woven Sky. Power 2. Unleash. Any player suffers 4 damage. Discard 3 cards in hand to discard. Alright, Zana is going to pay 4 to open that 4th breach and prep Eternal Ember. Okay. We do get Nim. I will discard 2 Sparks and a Crystal to eliminate Woven Sky. And I will pay 2 for a Jade. I will cast Eternal Ember. Eternal Ember is going to do 2 damage because of the +1 from the 4th breach, and that's enough to kill this Zom. I will prep Spark, and for 4, she will buy a Diamond Cluster. And Nemesis. Overwhelm. Unleash. The players collectively discard gems equal to the number of Trogs in play. Okay. It does unleash, so that is a single Trog. We get a Yud, and then the players have to collectively discard gems. So she has 4. And I will discard one of his crystals. Because he still has 7. Okay, Nim does get to go. We're going to cast Cinder for 2 Aether. Diamond Cluster's 2 Aether. And then the crystals are 3. So that's 7. And we will take a Banishing Topaz and a Jade. And we get Zana. She's going to cast Spark for 2 and kill the Yud. Prep Eternal Ember again. And then for 4, she will purchase a Diamond Cluster. She gets to go again. And she generates 6. which is good enough for a diamond cluster and a jade. Okay, and Nemesis. Crushing Masses. Power 2. If there are no Trogs in play, unleash twice. Otherwise, Gravehold suffers 2 damage for every Trog in play. Nemesis again. Take a token off Crushing Madness. Night Raid. Unleash twice, then discard a Trog in play. So we're going to shuffle these back in. We're supposed to shuffle with every unleash, but I don't see any point to shuffling that many times. So I'm just going to shuffle once and then draw twice. Alright, and I do get to discard one, and I will discard the Yud. Keep the Orc in play. Now we get Nim. So he has 4 Aether. Okay. So he will prep Spark to the first. He will focus second breach, prep Spark for 2, and he will purchase a Jade with the other 2. Pretty good. Feel pretty good about their gems anyway. Time to start getting them some spells. Hopefully, I want to get them each a Transmogrifier and a Devouring Shadow and a Combustion. Two, three, four. Okay. I always feel like there's 5 in there. I don't know why. Alright. We do start with Nim. He will cast both Sparks to kill the Orb. He will prep Cinder. And that's worth 2, 4, 5, 6. Or I can remove a crystal and make it worth 7. We'll take a Transmogrifier and a Jade. 6. Zana will cast Eternal Ember for 2. It's going to be First Blood in the Horde Crone, drops into 58. Prep Spark. And then she generates 5, which is enough for a Combustion. Nemesis, nothing. Oh, Crushing Mass activates. Oh, damn. I shouldn't have killed that Trog. I should have left it, actually. I didn't realize that. So he's going to unleash twice now. So if I had left that single Trog in play, it would just been 2 damage to Gravehold, which is not a big deal at all. Not that unleashing is the worst thing in the world, but depends on how your luck is. Warp and is on. So the first one you draw never does anything. The second one does something, then the third does something worse, fourth does something worse. Oh, and then draw a card. Lead Static. Power 3. The player with the most prep spells suffers 2 damage for each of their prep spells. Okay. And we get Nim. So this is worth 4, 7, 9 with the... So I will cast Cinder for 2 Aether. Then 6, 7, 8, 9. And I will grab a diamond cluster. And for 4, and a combustion. Okay, and we get Zana. She will cast Spark for 2, kill the Zom. And then she generates 6, 9. Ooh. Very nice. Which is good for combustion and a transmogrifier. The reason I'm not grabbing the Monstrous Infernos, even though they're super good, is because they take 2 breaches. Both my characters only have 1 breach open. And the transmogrifiers are going to come in handy early, but not late. And I need those combustions. So, we'll see if that plays out well. Okay, so we take a token off Bleed Static, and we draw Banesire. Alright, 6 life, Persistent Unleash. So far, I feel really good, feel really strong. Even my breaches aren't too terrible to open. So we will get those started. Okay, Nemesis does go first. We take a token off Bleed Static. Banesire unleashes. And we get an Orb. So Gravehold suffers 2 damage from the Orb. And then we draw. Unleash. Any player suffers 3 damage and draws a card. So we get a Zom. We're going to have Zana take the 3 damage. Leaves her with 7. And she draws Diamond Cluster. Okay, and then it's her turn. So this is worth 4, 6. That's all right. So she will spend the 6, to open her second breach, and she will prep Eternal Combustion and Eternal Ember. And she gets to go again. We are going to cast Eternal Ember to cast the Combustion. And that's going to do 3 damage to the Banesire. Drops into 3 and kill one of the orbs. We will then cast Combustion on its own, killing the Banesire, because it does 3 damage, being in the 4th breach, and killing the last orb. She will then prep Combustion and Spark. I'm actually going to flip those. Combustion there, Spark there. And she generates 3 Aether, which is enough for a Jade. Actually, I take that back. I'm going to put that Jade back, and I'm going to use that 3 to focus her 3rd breach. Okay, Nemesis's turn. Bleed Static does go off. That's going to do 4 damage to Zana, which drops her to 3. I kind of forgot about that. Zon does nothing. Horde comes out. Immediately unleash. Yet. This minion becomes a Trog of the type with the most type in play. So I'm going to con as a Zom. Player with the lowest life suffers 1 damage. Or, in that case, I'll count it as a Yud. Any player suffers 2 damage. Nim's going to take 2 damage, drop to 8 life. And he has 7 life. Okay, Nim's turn. So he's going to pay 4 to focus his 4th breach, and then he will prep both sparks. That's his turn. Okay, his turn again. He will cast both sparks. I'll kill the Yud. So Transmogrifier I will use to destroy crystal and replace it with a jade. And then that's worth 4, 5, or 6. So for 5, I'll buy the combustion. So both of them have 2 combustions. I did not get any Devouring Shadows. I did get a couple Transmogrifiers. So now I want to grab a Devouring Shadow, Vin Dynamo, and then work as I open up my breaches, move towards Monstrous Infernos, if possible. Okay, Nemesis's turn. Immediately, Rabid Hysteria, immediately unleash twice. Power 2, any player suffers 1 damage for each draw in play. I guess this counts as a Zom right now. I'm a little confused on the order of operations for how that works. So we get a Yud and another Yud. So any player suffers 2 damage. So Nim takes 2. Oh no. Nim takes 2 damage. And then the Horde acts as a Yud. Right? Oh, I don't know. I don't know how that works. What did I make it before? A Yud? I don't think I was supposed to move it around. I think I was supposed to make it a Yud. So 2 damage and then 3 damage. Okay. So these are all Yuds. I don't think that shifts around. Alright, so I may have screwed up there. And then power 2, any player suffers 1 damage for each turn. So my players are taking a beating. Woo! Pulverizing Ray, power 1, 18 damage to Greyfold. You may prevent 3 damage for each gem that you discard. Alright, Nim, nothing prepped. But I have 8 Aether, which is enough to open a second breach, purchase a Vin Dynamo, as well as prep both Cinder and Combustion. Okay, Zana. It's going to cast Combustion and kill both of these Yuds. Dropping that back to 1. Spark, she's going to cast to do 2 to the Zom, getting him out of play. Then she will use Transmogrify on a crystal. Trade it for Jade. And then she generates 7 Aether. Which is enough for the last combustion, as well as a charge. She gets to go again. 4, 5, 6, 7. She's going to open her 3rd breach and purchase a charge. Okay, and Nim. He's going to cast Cinder for 2. He's going to cast Combustion. 2 to the Horde. Crone, and 2 to the Horde Hybrid. And then he gets 2 from Cinder. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And he buys a Monstrous Inferno. Okay. We're going to prep Combustion and Eternal Ember. And for 3, she's going to buy a charge. Nim's turn. He's going to prep both Sparks. And he generates 5, which is enough for Vin Dynamo. Okay, we do get Zana. She will cast Eternal Ember to double cast Combustion. So it's going to be 3 damage to the Horde Hybrid, 3 damage to the Horde Crone, 53, and then going to come back, cast Combustion again. 3 more damage to the Horde Hybrid, killing it. 3 more damage to the Horde Crone, drops him to 50. She will then prep both Combustions and Spark. I think I can use Transmogrifier to destroy Transmogrifier. Bump it up to a Devouring Shadow. Oh, anyway, I will use Transmogrifier to destroy the Jade and purchase Vin Dynamo. And this is his turn. Any player suffers 1 damage for each Trog in play. There are no Trogs in play. That is discarded. Pulverizing Ray activates. 2, 3. 3 crystals, burn, and you know what? I'm gonna hold on. Yeah. I'm gonna discard 5, 4 crystals and a jade. So that means Gravehold will take 3 damage from the Pulverizing Ray, but I have plenty. That drops me from 28 to 25. And then we draw Lay Waste, unleash twice. Any player suffers 2 damage. Whew. Scary. So I gotta get some healing. Good, and Zama. And we're going to have Nim take the damage because he doesn't have any charges. Alright, Nim does get to go. He is going to cast both Sparks to kill the Zom. He will prep Combustion. And he's actually going to use Transmogrifier to destroy the Banishing Topaz, which lets me grab a Monstrous Inferno. 5 plus 3 equals 8. So that's pretty cool. And Nemesis. Yeah, it doesn't do anything on its own. Dispel, unleash twice. The player with the most prep spells discards their most expensive prep spell. So as long as I don't get 2 Zoms, I feel okay. Or 2 Yuds. Horde Hybrid, that makes him a Yud, and an Orp. So 2 Yuds is 2 damage, so both my mages now have 1 life. Not great. And then Zana has to discard a Combustion. I still have enough damage prepped to destroy all those Trogs, even though I had to discard the Combustion. Don't have much on deck. But okay, we will cast this first Combustion to kill the Yud and do 3 damage to the Horde Hybrid. I will also cast Spark on the Horde Hybrid for a total of 4 damage, leaving him with 3. And then I generate 6 Aether, which is enough for Devouring Shadow. Okay, nice. Oh, card got bent. And then Nim's turn. He will cast Combustion. 2 damage. Oh, right, because that's not in the 3rd breach. So that only does 2 damage to the Horde Hybrid. So he still has 1 life. But it does kill. It is enough to kill the Orb. And then prep Cinder. I will destroy Vin Dynamo to give 2 hit points to Zana, as well as a charge. And then he generates 6, 8 Aether, which is good for... Oof, we're going to grab 2 Vin Dynamos, actually. And then we get Zana. She has nothing prepped. And this is worth 4, 7 Aether. So she's going to buy a Devouring Shadow. I did not get to curate my decks early on the way I wanted to, which is too bad. That's what it is. Servitude to Evil. To discard, spend 7 Aether. Power 2, unleash 4 times. Then discard 2 Trogs in play. Nim's turn. He's going to cast Cinder for 1 damage. Kill the Horde Hybrid. He's going to prep Monstrous Inferno, the 1st and 2nd breach. And then he will focus his 4th breach and prep Combustion. Take a token, Nemesis turn, take a token off Servitude to Evil, and we pull out the Venomite. 9 life, player with the lowest life suffers 2 damage. Or discard a prep spell worth 4 or more. Zana's starting nice. She's going to prep Combustion, Internal Ember. And then she's going to use Transmogrifier on the Vin Dynamo, destroying it, giving herself 2 life and a charge, and using 7 Aether to buy a Devouring Shadow. She will use her special ability to heal Gravehold, which actually bumps us up to 32, I guess, because it's gain 7 life, not heal. And then the last crystal just gets wasted. But not too shabby of a turn right there. Gravehold's in great shape. 2, 3, 4, 5. And she's back to decent shape. So I can afford to heal Nim now. Oh, and she does get to go again. Good. She will use Eternal Ember to double cast Combustion. So it's going to be 6 damage to the Venomite and 6 damage to the Horde Crone. Drops him to 44. Even though I'm not trying to defeat him, it's still nice. Feels good to get some licks in. Alright, and then I will double prep. I will prep both Combustions, the 3rd and 4th breach. And for 3 Aether, she will purchase another charge, I guess. Nothing else she can really do. Really hope I can. Not likely. Alright, Servitude to Evil is going to go off. Unleash 4 times. If I get 2 Zombs, that will kill Nim. That'll be a problem. Hopefully I just get orbs. Yeah, Orb. That's 2 damage to Gravehold. Orb, that's 5 damage to Gravehold and a Zom, which is nothing. So a total of 5 damage to Gravehold. Brings us to 27. That's about as good as that could have gone. Honestly, that was awesome. Then afterwards, you discard 2 Trunks. So I'll get rid of Zom and the Orb. Then the Venomite activates. Player with the lowest life suffers 2 damage. I will discard a Combustion to prevent that. And then we draw. Unleash twice, and Gravehold suffers 3 damage. Or return the most recently discarded minion back into play, which is the Banesire. I'll actually bring him back. He isn't. 6 life isn't too bad. I was gonna say, yeah, I haven't seen many minions. Whew, okay. So Venomite activates again. We will discard a Combustion. Then Banesire unleashes. We get an Orb. 3 Orbs, 3 damage to Gravehold. drops us to 24. And then we draw. Unleash twice. Okay. Yud. And Zom. Resolve the effects of each of the Trogs placed into play by this card one additional time. So neither of these had resolved any effects because they were the first ones. But if that had been 4 Orbs, Gravehold would have suffered 5 damage, so it would have done that twice. I would have suffered 10. So again, lucky draw. And I should have the rest of the round. So Nim is going to go next. And he's going to cast Monstrous Inferno for 7 damage. He's going to do 3 of that to the Venomite. And he's going to do 4 to the Banesire. He's then going to destroy his Vendynamo to gain 2 life and a charge. Puts him up to 3. And then he generates 5 Aether, which is enough for 2 charges. I'm sorry. What did I just do? 5 Aether? 2 charges? No. Open Force Breach. Sorry about that. I forgot his breaches weren't open yet. Okay, he does get to go again. We're going to prep 2 Sparks, and he generates 5 Aether, which is enough for a focus and a charge. That was those last 2 Vendynamos that I bought. Try to use 1 on each of them. Get them back into fighting shape. Nemesis first, so we get an Unleash. Horde Hybrid, he becomes an Orc, which means Gravehold suffers 3 damage. Drops to 21. Siege, Unleash twice. Zom, player with the lowest life, suffers 1 damage. So that's 1 damage to them. And Yud, any player suffers 2 damage. Zana takes that. If there are 3... Okay, so I currently have 7 Trogs in play. So this is when this starts getting dangerous. This hasn't happened to me yet. Whew. Double activation. Okay, we unleash again from the Banesire. Yud. 3 Yuds. Any player suffers 3 damage. Okay, that's going to exhaust one of them. So who do I want? I'm probably Nim. Yeah, we'll take Nim. He has less life anyway. He becomes exhausted. He loses all of his charges. His first breach is gonna get destroyed as well. And because he becomes exhausted, that also causes a double unleash. So 4 Orps. That is 5 damage to Gravehold. Drops us to 16. Does discard all Orps though. Oh shit! I already had 4. I don't know. I screwed up there somewhere. I'm sorry, guys. But these guys all get shuffled back in. Man, I don't think that really affects it because Gravehold's the one thing that I'm really not worried about. All she has to do is buy charges anyway. Let me get an orc. And I still draw a card. Okay, Gravehold suffers 4 damage, and the player with the lowest life suffers 4 damage. No. Or shuffle all the Nemesis turn order cards back into the turn order deck. Ugh. That is a really bad combination. I just got screwed by that double activation. So I was doing good. Now I'm not. Very unlikely I'm going to win now, guys. I lost control of the board. Okay, now we unleash again. Horde Hybrid. Yuds, player with the lowest life, suffers 4 damage. That's game over. It's Zana for 4 damage. Discard all Yuds. Yeah. So I had a triple Nemesis activation because of that. With Banesire in the game, unleashing each time. That was a mistake bringing him back. Holy crap. Wow. All right. I still feel pretty good about this, so I'm gonna keep the same setup for the next game. I'm gonna try to get Devouring Shadows a little earlier. I went for Transmogrifiers a little bit earlier, and they didn't really do anything for me because you can get rid of starting cards with them, but it only lets you buy a 3-cost card, and I don't have any 3-cost cards. So I could either replace Diamond Cluster with an Agate, but I really have been enjoying the Diamond Clusters. And I don't want to swap out for a 3-cost spell either, like Spell Echo. I want to stick to the expansion cards as much as I can. Although, that's not a terrible idea either. Because then use a Transmogrifier, get rid of Spark or Crystal, get a Spell Echo, which then gets rid of another card. Okay. I'll swap out Void Bond for Spell Echo for the next game. Because I didn't buy a single one of those. I've been buying Diamond. So, because I have 4 options at 4 cost, both my Relics, Diamond Clusters, and Void Bond, so it doesn't really make sense to have another 4 cost. Yeah. So, Spectral Echo, deal 2 damage, you may destroy a card in hand for 3 cost. I'll try that out for the next game. Alright guys, hope you enjoyed. You're the best.